Hey there, it's Monica Grace from Card Reading Queen. Today's card reading is going to be a special card reading with a Game of Thrones theme. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. Today is the premiere of the first episode of the last season of Game of Thrones here in the US, and I'm super excited about it. I also own a Game of Thrones tarot deck, so it just seemed like the perfect theme for this video, and I wanted to do a fun video. So this video is going to be all about the healing, and we're going to go through healing for the Divine Masculine, what their blocks are, what their false beliefs are, and so on, and then we'll go through healing for the Divine Feminine, same thing, and then we'll do the union healing. And so the goal here is really just, I want to share a spread that I've created that could be helpful to you when you're working on your healing. But I also just wanted to do a fun video and show off some decks that are Game of Thrones related, and yeah, just have a really good time. If you haven't yet seen my recent video on the weekly energies, please make sure you go see that. And the reason why, so it's weekly energies for the upcoming week. You can always see these under, I have a playlist called Weekly Twin Soul Cosmic and Tarot Energies. And no matter what week it is, you can always go and look at the most recent week. This past week, I just recorded it earlier today. It was incredible energies. Goes really well with the Cosmic Energy Report that is available through my website. So the other thing is that if you are interested in what the cosmic energies are combined with tarot, then you will probably also be interested in my energy report. So I'm just gonna show you this real quick. Here we go. Okay, so this energy report, it's called the Twin Soul Romance and Ascension Cosmic Energy Report. This one is for April 2019, but I put these out every month. So if you're coming to this video later, still very valid. Feel free to go pick up the latest Cosmic Energies report. And so what this is, it basically maps all the cosmic energies for the month and explains what they mean for the Divine Masculine, what they mean for the Divine Feminine, and then what they mean for the Twin Soul journey. So this is the report for April. This report is 30 pages long, and it goes through all sorts of stuff. It's a really good report. It explains kind of everything that's going on in the cosmos and puts it in terms of the twin soul journey. So really good opportunity to download this. If you want to get this, go to cardreadingqueen.com/energies. You can sign up for it there, and it is completely free. All you have to do is sign up. We will send it to you via email, and then you're automatically signed up for every month from the time you sign up. So the next month will come around, and then you'll receive the report for that month as well. So this is a pretty cool resource, and I hope you take advantage of it. All right, with that said, let's get into the reading. First up, we're going to do the Divine Masculine reading, and for that one, I'm going to use my special Game of Thrones tarot deck. This pretty much combines my favorite two things, or two of my favorite things, I should say. Not my absolute favorite two things, but it's definitely really fun. So I will push that up. This deck is really amazing. I've used this deck for quite a while, actually. I've owned it for over a year, and I use it pretty regularly considering it's more of a novelty deck. But it's really interesting because the characters that they pick, they use mainly mostly the main characters of the show. But the characters they pick really embody the energies of tarot. So if you know Game of Thrones and if you watch the show, it's actually a really great deck to get to start to just go deeper with the different tarot meanings. But even if you don't watch a show, if you don't watch a show, I probably wouldn't get the deck. But either way, it's all the regular tarot meanings, so you'll still be able to fully understand this reading. All right, so we are going to do the divine masculine first. Okay, so I'm gonna push this up and out of the way over here. All right, so the first part of this reading is all about the blocks. And these two cards represent the blocks, and really I usually try to combine it into one block. So we're getting the King of Swords and the Three of Spears. And so this is, the spears are the wands in this deck. So what I'm taking this to be, and I think this goes along with the Cosmic Energies report, and it also goes along with my recent Weekly Energies video that's on YouTube. To me, it seems like this masculine is stuck in his head. So he's stuck in a very logical place, a logical approach to things. The Three of Spears I think of as moving, basically moving, I mean, it's a transition. So you're moving from one state to another, and this is typically a pretty major transition. And this, so combined, I would say he's really trying to apply logic to his next transition, and this is not going to be ideal for him on this journey, because this journey, the soul journey, it's much less about logic and more about what's in your heart. So he's struggling with this right now. I want to get more specific about what that struggle is, but I do think that there's a lot of cosmic energy around this right now, where he is trying to offer something to the divine feminine, and he's just a little confused. Like he still needs clarity in the sense that he knows he wants to move forward, but there are still fears, and they're very logical fears. They're logic-rooted fears, and ego-based fears. There's a lot of fears that are holding him back right now. So he's kind of, and I read this earlier as well, he's basically looking at two different paths, the one his head wants to take, the one his heart wants to take, and he's not really committed to either right now. And so I think that's what this Three of Spears means as well. So let's dig into that a little bit deeper. All right, so we have these. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know that this gives a ton of extra clarity. So the Knight of Spears, which is all about charging forward movement. I think this is important for the divine feminines to know right now, because for many of the divine feminines, they don't have any information about what their divine masculine is doing. And so all they see is a lack of action. And so this card, it also came up earlier in my reading, but this card is really about, look, like the divine masculine is actually still taking a ton of action, but you're not, if you're the divine feminine, you're not going to be able to see it right now. And it may be that you're not supposed to see it right now, and you're not supposed to know what this is. But he is taking action right now. That said, this action's a very, it's a very shaky action is what I'm getting. Because again, he's not fully committed, like fully aligned to either of the paths in front of him. So he is taking a lot of action, and he is moving forward, but he's maybe not moving forward at the speed that he could be because of this conflict that's inside him. So the Ten of Swords, he's still dealing with karmic situations or karmic relationships. So this is something that has been definitely in the collective for months now. The masculine has been through so many things, tower moment after tower moment, and he's been able to escape those situations, those karmic situations that he wanted to leave, He knew he was leaving, but it's still a painful transition for him. So while he is leaving this behind, and while he is happy to be leaving it behind, he's also in deep pain over it. He's having to let go of not just that karmic situation, but also let go of the part of himself that allowed him to be in that karmic situation in the first place. And he has to let go of his old habits. He has to let go of old friends, old relationships, people that kept him in a certain place. He wants to make that choice, but he's still trying to navigate that and clear out, lingering negative energies around that. So then we have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is, definitely a choice of options. And this is, he's thinking about what he wants for the future. He's still in a bit of a dreamy energy, and he's still, because he's not moving forward so specifically toward one thing, he feels like he has a lot more options than he does. He feels like, okay, I can go this way or that way at any time. The problem is that he can't. He's already decided what he wants. He's not ready to face that he has already decided what he wants is the problem. And what I'm hearing is that this is because he was in such a bad situation with his last set of commitments that he's just not ready to commit again, because it's like he's just gotten his freedom and he doesn't want to go back to that right away, even though there's a part of him that has already committed. So he's in a lot of conflict here. Like, all of these cards are conflict. Okay, so let's keep going. So what are his false beliefs? Let's pull some false beliefs. All right. Okay. Yeah, so, all right, what I'm getting here. False beliefs. So one is that, okay, so we have the Eight of Swords here. I'm being drawn to this one first. So this is this feeling of being trapped. So where he feels he's trapped, though, he's not really trapped. It's more like he feels like he's being dragged into something that he hasn't quite fully chosen for himself. So again, he wants to feel like his options are open. That makes him feel safe. He wants to feel like he has these two paths. That makes him feel safe. And in his mind and in the 3D, he truly believes that he is still seeking clarity. I do not think he's still seeking clarity. I think he has the clarity, but there's this fear of cutting off the open, the open field. He's afraid to commit to the direction he has already chosen. So it's this feeling of being trapped and being drug along in many ways. And this, of course, is a false belief, but this is kind of how he feels. Now this card, the Magician. So if you watch Game of Thrones, you know that, so I typically think of the Magician as a positive card, but Game of Thrones, this character, his name is Littlefinger, and he is able to create whatever he wants, but he tends to create a lot of chaos. So he's actually a villain in the show. And this card, because of the deck, so normally I would read this as a good thing, but this is actually a negative thing, from what I understand. And so what I'm taking this to be is his second false belief is that he believes he can still create anything. So this pairs pretty much with the Seven of Cups again. He still believes that he can go any which direction, any which way, and that's true. So he understands manifestation at a spiritual level, but what he's not understanding about this is that the energies for manifestation, they come from what's in your heart. They don't come from your thoughts. They start with your emotions, then those emotions become thoughts, then those thoughts become actions, and then the manifestation materializes. So if you're thinking about this, if you're familiar with tarot decks, the first place of the manifestation is the cups, right? Where the emotions are. So you put your emotions into something and you choose based on your emotions. Then that goes to the swords suit. So this is, where it gets turned into thoughts. And then it goes to action. So that's the fire suit. And then after all this, after the manifestation has gone through all of these three, then it materializes as in the pentacles suit. So this, it's funny because this is the magician, so that analogy like made perfect sense for this particular card. But yeah, he still believes that, but I think he's trying to start with the thoughts. He's trying to start at the swords part. So he's a little spiritually confused about how manifestation works, and that's okay. He's gonna move through that quickly, but he's starting there with the thoughts and ignoring the emotions. And this is one of the huge blocks for the divine masculine in general. So this is not really that surprising. But anyway, that's what's going on. So that's a false belief. He believes that he can still create anything he wants, but he's coming at it from a place of control. And you can see that in this character's face, like their eyes, the redness of the card. Like it's a deeply deceptive card, and like very negative, rather than the traditional magician, which is a very positive, abundant, and beautiful card typically. All right, so let's find out the truth that he needs to learn in order to better understand. Oh, 2 cards came out. I'm going to place these next to each other as they go together. Then I will pull the 3rd card. Okay. All right, so, yep, and you cannot see these two. All right, so these two go together though. All right, so we've got 3 cards. So the first one is a star. This card is truly about what I was just talking about regarding the emotions. He is trying to control the manifestation through his thoughts, but the truth is that the manifestation comes from his desires and his dreams. So he has to go within his heart to find that. And right now he's really ignoring some of this information. So he's getting this information. It's all intuitive, but he's struggling to trust it. And so he's still trying to be controlling with the thoughts. The second one, same thing, Page of Cups and 6 of Spears. Basically success is going to come when he goes into his emotions. And the Page of Cups is really it's really like a lower ability to go into your emotions, right? So, typically like we want to see Queen of Cups or King of Cups when it comes to this. And as you can see, we got the King of Swords. This is an interesting thing. He needs to go into his emotions, and he doesn't even need to go very far into them, just at page level, but he's not really doing that right now. So this is the truth. He's gotta acknowledge those emotions in order to move forward. And then the last one is the 6 of Coins. So what I'm taking from this is that he is coming at this. So I think these first 2 go with this card. This one is the truth against this false belief. So this card is all about giving and receiving, but mostly it's about giving. And he has been receiving quite a bit. So he has felt trapped by this connection at the 3D level, because he feels like, how can I you know, how can I move forward? I feel like I'm being drugged forward. I feel like I'm being forced into this connection. I feel like it's fate, it's destiny, and this doesn't feel good to me. Like I'm resistant to it. And so he's been willing to receive, but he's not been willing to put more into it. So he's receiving, and by that I mean he's receiving things from the it's so weird, the candle just went out and it startled me, but I realized I think it's probably a sign that we're on the right track. So he's been feeling, you know, he's been feeling like he hasn't had a choice in this connection, and he's been receiving quite a bit from the divine feminine, and he has not given back. So he's receiving because the reason he's receiving, he's evaluating what he receives using this King of Swords energy. So he's evaluating to see, like, is this really a connection? Is this really unconditional love? Is this really what she says? Are her feelings real? Blah, blah, blah. And he is looking at that from a very logical perspective. He is not giving right now because he's still seeking that clarity. And so here, even though this is a card about being trapped, it's also a card about not giving. It's a card about only receiving and not being willing to give. So he has to, instead of thinking of this as he's getting trapped, he needs to look at this as this is a gift for him. This connection's a gift, and he can invest in it. He can give to this connection. And he can give to his divine feminine. All right, so we're gonna draw 2 more cards of guidance. I feel called to shuffle the deck, and I'm not sure why, but let's just do what we're supposed to do here. Yes, so we're gonna draw 2 cards of guidance for this divine masculine. And if this is resonating with you, please check out that weekly energies report, because there's so much more detail in there. Check out the monthly energy report, the 30-page one on my website, cardreadingqueen.com/energies. You can sign up for it there. But check out these resources because they will explain this in more detail and they will give you more information about this. All right, so here's the guidance. Okay, so this is interesting. All right, so the Hanged Man. This is somebody who's stuck. This is a stuck energy. And this is, you know, this is the energy of, well, I'm almost at a stalemate in many ways. Another way to interpret this card is surrender. So this could be that he needs to surrender to this situation. He needs to surrender to this connection. The Three of Cups, I'm going to pull a clarifier because I feel there's another message here. Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so the Three of Cups, this is, the way I'm seeing this is a potentially 2 people that he's trying to make a choice between. I'm not sure. It doesn't have to be 2 romantic options. It could also be that he's trying to choose between a certain way of life and his divine feminine, or his way of life with the divine feminine. But this is, you know, this is a card of Three's a Crowd. And he's trying to choose between that, and what the guidance is saying is this Queen of Swords, which is, you know, effectively cut the bullshit. You can't have the Three of Cups. It's got to be, you've got to make a choice. And this, I think, goes along with so much of this other energy where the divine masculine is really clinging to keeping his options open. I'm going to pull just one more card about this Hanged Man. Okay, so it's the Empress. Yeah, I don't know. This seems pretty straightforward to me. I mean, this is, you know, this card is you're at a stalemate, or you're stuck, or, you know, and it typically the way through that is with surrender. So that's how I think of the Hanged Man. And, you know, clearly surrender to your divine feminine. You know, I don't know how else to interpret that besides that. So super interesting. Definitely for me, I'm definitely understanding this group of divine masculines much better than I had earlier in this month when I was channeling that report. So yeah, this is great stuff. I think we're done with the divine masculine, so let's move on. Okay, let's get the energies for the divine feminine. We are using the Dragon Oracle cards, which I have never used for this before, so we will see what happens. And we'll put this to the side for now. Okay. So this deck, I recently got this one. I haven't used it a ton. If you are familiar with Game of Thrones, then you know that there are some pretty exciting dragons in it. And especially as the series goes on, the dragons become more interesting and take a larger role in the show. So one more shuffle, and then we will get into the divine feminine and what's going on with them. All right. So we got 2 cards for the divine feminine. Okay, we got the golden Christed dragon. Bring you higher love so that you can embody in the Christ light. Absorb the Christ light, you are protected. Expand your heart and remain 5th dimensional. And then we also have this fire and water dragon, which enables your life to flow with loving force. Prepare for change and to move forward quickly. Expect the unexpected. Have fun. So here's what these blocks are telling me. So this first one, I think, is all about manifestation. So right now, the manifestation energies for both the divine masculine and the divine feminine are high. But this is especially affecting the divine feminine because she's been trying to manifest a number of things, including a deeper step into her union with her divine masculine. She's been trying to manifest this for a while. So she's been in the 5D. She's been forced to go into the 5D because she was not seeing evidence in the 3D. So she was forced to go there. So now she's going to be starting to see some seedlings as we move from winter to spring. She'll be seeing some of these seedlings sprout up, and this will be some evidence in the 3D. However, she is going to need to hold that vision in the 5D because the seedlings are going to look very small, basically. So she's, she manifested a tree and she got like a little sprout out of the ground is basically what's happening. And so this is just a reminder. So this is the block to keep holding that vision in the 5D so that that manifestation comes to deeper fruition. This card is all about believing that you know what's going to happen when you basically don't. And so this is really, there's a lot of interesting energy going on right now, but this is, I think, just a reminder to let go of expectations. It says, expect the unexpected, have fun, prepare for change, and to move forward quickly. And there's some fear around this. There really is, because this divine feminine has been trying to hold the faith for this for so long. And it's been a real struggle. There's been no evidence. And so now there's a little bit of evidence and it's like, thank goodness. But like, where's the whole picture? There's some anxiety that whole picture will never come. Just because, especially, it's just taken so long to even get to this point. And that is very painful for these divine feminines. I'm gonna move that out of the way. So let's go deeper into these blocks. We have Sunshine Yellow Dragon. Serve animals, heal, respect, and understand them. We have Archangel Gabriel's Dragon, brings purification. Self-discipline will speed ascension and bring joy. And then we have the Golden Atlantean Dragon, which helps you awaken, bring back your knowledge, gifts, and talents, reclaim your mastery. So what I'm getting from these 3 cards is that the Divine Feminine has been on this journey for quite a while, and there are things that she was doing at the beginning of the journey because she was not as familiar with the journey. So there was a lot of stuff she was doing. She was very hopeful at the time. She was doing a lot of active healing at the time, and she was really diving in with full faith into this work. And so now, you know, she's battle worn. She's been at battle for what she wants for a long time, and as she's been implementing this stuff, it seems very simple when it's said. It's very simple instructions, but the actual work of it is very challenging. And this is some guidance to go back to those basics. Even though you've been on this journey for a while, go back to the basics. So I want to get more specific, talking about healing, respecting, and understanding animals. This is a super specific card. It may or may not resonate with you. The way I'm taking it is to get in touch with your spirit animals. And there's actually a really amazing deck for this. It's called the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And there's lots of other animal decks out there, but that's probably my favorite animal deck. And that deck may help you get back in touch with some of your spirit animals that have been guiding you. So that's something to consider. This one, all about self-discipline. So I think there are times, especially later in the journey, when you want to say like, I just want this to be over. I don't want to have to do any healing on it. I don't want to have to work through it. This is a reminder that no, like, you've got to go back, do the work, even though, and do the healing, and do it actively, even though in the past it hasn't moved you forward as fast as you want. So self-discipline will speed ascension. And there's a saying that what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. That I think is what you can take from this, is that the healing always works and it always moves you forward. So it's just about how fast you want to move. This one, awaken, bring back your knowledge, gifts, and talents, reclaim your mastery. So I think this is, again, this could be about stepping into teaching. It could be about using your knowledge of this journey and turning it into something, helping someone else with it. But I think all 3 of these are just about going back to basics, going back to things that used to work for you, that you haven't been doing as of late, that, you know, feel a little too like basic or like 101, but that, you know, moved you forward quite quickly. And it's saying, look, you're a master of those things, like, do them, because they're going to work even better for you than they did when you first started this journey. All right, so what are the divine masculines? What are the divine feminines' false beliefs? Divine feminine's false beliefs. All right, so we got the Air and Fire Dragon. Expands your creative energies, harness your creativity, excitement, and enthusiasm, communicate your passion. Okay, so that's an interesting card. I think I know what that one means. This other one, Pure White Dragon from Orion, transforms your ascension knowledge into pure wisdom. Process what you know, act with truth and honesty, let your wings of light grow and expand. Okay, so these 2 cards I think go together. And so what I'm getting from this is that these manifestations have come out, and the fear, and this is an old fear. It's an old fear that is weaving its way back into the collective right now. The fear is that, okay, we have the seedling and this was so hard to get, and now, like, what do, you know, if I take my eye off of this plant, it's gonna like wither up and die and disappear. And so that's a fear. The fear is that the plant that has been worked so hard for is somehow going to go away. It's going to die, it's going to wither, it's going to disappear, someone's going to take it from them, someone's going to kill it, whatever it is. So this, you know, communicate your passion. This I think would normally be a very positive card. In this context, it's not the most positive card because this is a card of massive action. So it's this idea that, okay, here's a seedling, like I've gotta like water it every day, and I've gotta, you know, test the soil every 10 minutes, and I've gotta like sing to it or whatever it is. What this is trying to say is like, slow your roll. You don't have to do anything. You just have to hold the vision in the 5D, continue holding that full vision, and that will nurture this into reality. So I don't want to say there's no 3D action to take, but there's not a ton of 3D action to take. This one, process what you know. I think it's a very similar energy to this first one, which is, you know, this idea of, okay, I've got to do something in order to make this happen. And they're saying, no, you have to receive. You have to receive in order to make this happen. Your task is to learn to receive. That is what manifestation is receiving. So your task is to decide what you want and learn to receive it. There's another message in this card, which is it's a caution to be careful, because when you process what you know already, that does not leave room for the unexpected. It does not leave room for growth. It does not leave room for change. Be careful of looking at the past and trying to predict the future with it. And I think that's the biggest lesson that the Divine Feminine is going through right now. You can see it in this section, you can see it in this section, and then you can see it in this section. So here we're saying like, okay, we did all the right things, we followed the rules, and it didn't turn out how I wanted. So I'm gonna discard those basics. No, it's saying even though it didn't turn out how you wanted last time, that's because you were going deeper with it. You were learning more with it. That it's still possible for it to turn out how you want this time. So go back to the basics. And then same here, it's like you have your manifestation coming, but you're afraid it's going to disappear. So no, that's not what, doesn't have to be what happens. Just because the seedling has sprouted in the past, or you felt like the seedling sprouted in the past and then it didn't grow the way you wanted, does not mean that that's what's going on now. Okay, so what is the truth that the Divine Feminine needs to understand? And we are going to move this down just a bit to make sure it's all in frame. Okay, so we have the Silver Dragon. It illuminates your potential with higher light. Access untapped resources, look into your soul, see higher possibilities. We have the Blue Dragon from the I think that's Pleiades or Pleiades, I'm not sure. Prepares you to accept source healing, accept a heart activation, give and receive heart healing. And then the Earth and Air Dragon represents a perfect balance of heaven and earth. Stay balanced, ground your visions, manifest your hopes and dreams. Okay, to me, these are all super clear. This is all about manifestation, each and every one of them. This is all about, and it's all about manifesting by looking. So this first one is see the higher possibilities, access untapped resources. So this is all about manifesting in the 5D, and you have this dragon with the key here. So this is the power that you've already unlocked. You already know how to do this, how to manifest in the 5D. So then you accept source healing. Accept a heart activation, give and receive heart healing. So this reminds me, so something I learned probably a year ago, and I had studied manifestation for years and years, but something I learned about manifestation is that manifestation is not about moving forward. Manifestation is about clearing all the blocks to something. And so it's not about, a lot of people think manifestation is about accumulating something. So like, okay, I want like a really expensive handbag. So how do I do that? I accumulate money. And they think that's how you manifest. How do I accumulate money? I accumulate opportunities to make that money. No, that's not at all how it works. And that's how I used to think it works too. So if that's how you think it works, it's okay. It's a very common misunderstanding. So no, that's not how it works though. How it works is you don't have to go accumulate anything. You don't have to go create anything. What you have to do is clear all your blocks to receiving those things. And that's what this middle card is about, because it's saying accept the healing. Do the healing, accept a heart activation, give and receive heart healing. So this is all, this is all about unconditional love and healing yourself and healing your union. And then this one, a perfect balance of heaven and earth. This is just to remind you that you have the vision, you accept the healing, and then you ground that vision in the 3D. And this is how you manifest your hopes and dreams. So to me, this is the manifestation process. These are just fears that we have against this manifestation process. Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle and then I'm gonna pull 2 cards of guidance. 2 cards of guidance for the Divine Feminine, please. 2 cards of guidance. Okay. All right. Okay, so here are the 2 cards of guidance. We have the Earth and Fire Garden. Oops, sorry. We have the Earth and Fire Dragon. Works with you to clear the 5th dimensional ley lines. It's time for service. When you give, you receive. And then the Earth and Water Dragon. So that's interesting because we got the Earth and Air Dragon up here. Create the foundation for new growth. A fresh start is coming with new opportunities. Nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. So this is basically focusing on the seedling still. I feel like this is both instructional and a reminder that part of receiving is giving. I'm just going to pull a clarifier for this card right here. Okay, it says the green gold dragon from Sirius. Bring universal knowledge to your spiritual pathway. Learn about spiritual technology. Be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. So what I'm getting from this, especially with this row, how I said, go back to the basics, awaken, bring back your knowledge. So one of the best ways to bring back your knowledge of basics is to teach that knowledge to others. So what I'm getting from this is that you've come a really long way, Divine Feminine, and you truly understand this journey at a, definitely at the 5D level, but also at a very unique 3D level that a lot of people don't. And this may be a call for you to start teaching. And when I say start teaching, it doesn't mean like, oh, you got to like start a website, or, oh, you got to like become a college professor. Like, it's nothing like that. When I say that, it could be just showing someone else the way. It could be answering questions on someone's, on a platform to teach people about this. It could also just be sharing your knowledge. So you could write something down. You could do a video, much like this video. But this is calling you to become a teacher. It's saying when you become that teacher, you will, that's an opportunity to serve. And then that is an opportunity to give as well. And when you do that, you will receive back what you are desiring. And then this, to me, again, this one's all about nurturing the seed. I think the important thing is to find the connection between these two. So it could be that you're supposed to teach about this twin soul journey, but it could be something else. So let's say you had a seedling that was, you know, about anything else, whatever else you're interested in. That could be what you're supposed to teach about. So very interesting. I think that's all the messages for the Divine Feminine. So we are going to move on to union energies. All right, let's finish up this reading with the union energies. This is the Sacred Traveler deck. I thought it was apt for Game of Thrones for kind of obvious reasons. If you watch the show, you know, basically a number of the characters, particularly the Starks, end up doing quite a bit of wandering in order to find themselves and as part of their mission. And now, as the season comes to a close, or as the series comes to a close, many of those characters are starting to find their way back to each other and back to, you know, a lot of them have been on their own path for just years and years and years. And when I say that, I don't mean just in the show, like just in the show's timeline, but also in the, you know, in the actual show, like what we see. Several of the characters have had their own storyline, kind of by themselves, and not with many of the other cast members. So that just made a lot of sense to me to have the Sacred Traveler deck. So this is going to be, I'm getting some blurries, so let me move that back. This is going to be the union energies and what the two of you are trying to heal in the union, and what, so this is very specific to what you're trying to heal now. Okay, so here's the block. All right. So the two cards are Finding Sanctuary, and the message for this first one is opening to your spiritual source. The second one is Voyage of the Heart. Love flows through you and to you. What I think this is about, so one, it's about God. So finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. So I think the problem is that the two of you, both counterparts, don't fully trust in each other. And because of that, and in many ways, don't fully trust in this journey. So there's been a loss of faith in this past cycle, or maybe even the past couple cycles of this journey. And this loss of faith has really, you know, it's really had both of you, I think, close your hearts a bit. So you're trying to keep your hearts open, but the hearts are a bit closed. And because they're close to each other, they're also close to God. They're also close to the universe. And so this, what I would say about this is that this isn't a block like your heart is closed. This is a block like your heart is not as open as it can be. And so to me, this is something, you know, it's really the point of this journey is to open your heart more. We're going to draw some more cards about this. Let me move these down a bit. Okay. So the cards we're getting are Rejuvenating Rain, Clear the Past, Heal the Present, Grace and Gratitude, Through Gratitude Joy Expands, and Distant Thunder, Clear the Air. Okay, so this kind of makes a lot of sense to me, at least. All right, so this Clear the Past, Heal the Present. So again, this loss of faith, it's coming from the past, and it's coming specifically not from just your like past karma. It's specifically from your past with each other during this journey. It's very specific. And the message is really clear too. Clear the past, heal the present. So you can't move forward in the present until you clear this pain of the past. Through Gratitude Joy Expands, you know, this is this is, I mean, it's super straightforward to me, you know, attitude of gratitude and positivity. This is how you manifest things, is you have gratitude every day, put you in a positive place, positive vibes, and then you can attract what you want. So this is, you know, I think both counterparts look back on the past several cycles and they feel resentment, to be frank. The divine feminine feels resentment toward the divine masculine because she just feels like she's been waiting and having to have faith when there was nothing happening. And she's felt cut off. She's felt a lack of communication. She's felt a number of things that have been really painful to her. And the divine masculine, on the other hand, he was really going through hell. He was just having moment after moment of really challenging stuff happening in the 3D. And during that whole time, his divine feminine was, in his mind, pestering him or like nagging him almost. There's this patriarchal, I don't know, there's these patriarchal energies and these roles of like the nagging wife and the distant husband, you know, that type of dynamic that is playing out here a bit. And it's played out in this relationship, which is that the divine feminine has been moving forward for herself, and the divine masculine has felt very dragged along by that effort. And then on the other side, the divine feminine has just been trying to move forward. She feels at a reasonable pace, and the divine masculine is just not responsive to that. So that dynamic is, it's a patriarchal dynamic and patriarchal stereotypes, and that is playing out here. So look into the past, look at these past cycles, and find your gratitude. And this is for both counterparts. Find your gratitude for everything that you've been through. This distant thunder, clear the air. So what this to me is like the suit of swords or the suit of air. This to me is all about, it's all about communication, really. I was about to say it's all about clearing the air, but it's right there. That phrase is right there on the card, so I don't want to use that again because that's not super helpful. But yeah, this is all about communication. So these resentments and these pains and these desires for the future, everything that needs to be cleared, this is what you guys are working toward. That you're trying to work toward this communication and this deeper understanding of each other. And this is going to, this is going to be a process. So for a lot of divine feminines, they're starting to see that they worked so hard for the seedling, but it's just a seedling. It's a new cycle. It's a new time. It's a new process. They have to keep going. There's a lot more work to be done, even though they've already done a lot of work. And it's the same for the divine masculine. It's the same thing. They've done so much. They've been through so much, and they're still at like mile 2 of the marathon, and they're just like, oh my gosh, this is so painful. Like there's so much more to go through. But this communication is going to be critical. So let's look at the false beliefs. False beliefs for this. Ooh. Okay. False beliefs for these twins in this collective and in this wave of twins. So the false belief, number 1 is answer the call. The time is now. This to me is about rushing. So I think actually for both counterparts, there's this desire to rush forward. So for example, the divine masculine is trying to make this offer, trying to communicate finally to this divine feminine. And he's kind of rushing in with this offer and not realizing that it's not really her vision. That's not really what she wants. He's not giving her full vision because he's not able to give her full vision. So he may be wanting something from her, or he may be expecting a certain reaction from her, and she, you know, she's not giving it. So the time is not now for him. And then same for the Divine Feminine. And I think the Divine Feminine has learned this lesson a bit more than the Divine Masculine at this point. And I want to be clear, the two are in the same place, spiritually and, you know, emotionally as well, and vibrationally. However, the Divine Feminine has spent a lot of time in the 3D having faith. Like, she's had to learn how to have faith. The Divine Masculine has not. So the Divine Feminine, she would like things to happen now, but she's really accepted that this is a journey, and this is a process, and that this is going to take longer than she thinks, expects, or could ever imagine. So the second false belief is taking shelter. It says the answers are within. So this is done. This energy is done. This is the hermit mode. And the Divine Masculines were in this hermit mode for quite a bit. And what that was is they retreated so that they could gain clarity. And so they're coming out of this because the truth is that clarity comes through action. Clarity comes through communication. They don't have the answers by themselves. So they do have the answers within, but they're at a point where they need to be in communication with the Divine Feminine to continuing moving forward. And that communication, again, is rooted in their hearts. It's not that they're being forced to communicate. It's that this communication is divinely guided for them. So I'm going to move this out of the way. So yeah, this is a really interesting one. So let's look at, so these are the false beliefs. Let's just grab the truths that this couple needs to switch to. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that these are in frame. All right. Okay. So the first card is miracles. So expect the wondrous to emerge. And I think this is again about not rushing this process. So the time is now. This was all about rushing the process. Miracles is about allowing and letting life surprise you. So this, you know, I think with the genie and, you know, the genie in the bottle, a lot of that is also about wishes come true. And then this moon specifically, so the moon is specifically, I think, about receiving, but it's also about letting things happen, you know, effectively behind the scenes. So you're not necessarily taking action on them. The second card, grounding. Go deep and explore your roots. This, I think, yeah, I'm not sure because, so there's this grounding card and then there's a solitude card, and silence, peace prevails. I'm going to pull some clarifiers on that just to better understand. I think I know what this means. Okay. All right, so here's what I'm getting for this. So the clarifier card is wise leader. You are a beacon for others. What I'm getting from this is that we are exiting hermit mode for both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. So the Divine Masculine has been in hardcore hermit mode trying to gain clarity. The Divine Feminine has also been in hermit mode in the sense that she's been lost in her dreams and she's really moved into the 5D. She's not been so much in the 3D lately because the 3D was presenting her with so much information that conflicted with what was in her heart. So she had kind of retreated as well. And she's also poking back out. poking her head back out. This is actually an interesting truth, which is that okay, so what I'm getting from this is that although these two counterparts are coming out of this hermit mode, they're not necessarily running toward each other. And that's not to say that they aren't communicating, because I believe they are. But it seems like they're stepping deeper into themselves, and into who they are and into their individual missions. This grounding, go deep and explore your roots. This is gaining more self-knowledge. This wise leader, you are a beacon for others. This is stepping up into your power and stepping into the next phase of your work, basically. And so now we have this solitude card. In silence, peace prevails. I'm going to pull a clarifier for this card too, because I don't think this goes with that. I think it goes with that. Okay. So let's get some clarification. All right. So what I'm getting from this, in silence, peace prevails, I don't think they mean this literally. I don't think this is like another, because what was confusing me is that this was the hermit card and it was saying don't go into hermit mode, and then this also looks like a hermit card. But what I think they're actually saying, because they say in silence, peace prevails, I think what they're actually saying is don't start conflict with each other. Like, this just isn't the time for conflict. This is the time to support each other in your separate paths that you want to take, if that's what you're experiencing. If you guys are on the same page, more power to you. But if you're experiencing these separate paths, then, this is an opportunity to support one another. So it doesn't mean you won't be in communication. It doesn't mean you won't be together, but it does mean that there's a lot more individuality in this next phase of this journey than I think than we realized, or at least than I realized. I channeled the energies at the beginning of the month, and this message did not come up regarding what the next phase was. All I was getting was that the next phase of this journey, so moon in Aries at the beginning of the month, new moon in Aries, and also Aries is just the start of the astrological year, so it's kind of a new beginning. Lots of energies around a new beginning around end of March, beginning of April. But it was saying there's a new phase to this journey, but it wasn't saying what that phase was. It was just saying, this is a new phase, it's a fresh start, and it's going to go slower than you think. And it was saying there are union energies here, but it was saying those union energies are not what you think. It's not this declaration of love. It's not necessarily, a marriage proposal. It's not necessarily a date. Like, it's not, it's not necessarily romantic. But what it was saying is you're going deeper into union from wherever you were. So if you're blocked or out of communication, no contact, low contact, separation, then maybe you get back in touch. Maybe you are starting to communicate with your twin again. This is kind of giving clarity to what the journey actually is. And it looks like this next phase is going to be really about the two of you stepping into yourselves and learning to support each other, even if you guys want different things. So this clarification card, wandering path, this is enjoy the journey. So this is what I'm getting from this is just true acceptance of that other person and what they really want in life, and letting them move toward it, letting the seedling of your relationship or friendship or whatever the two of you have together, letting that grow, kind of letting it unfold as it's going to, and releasing the control around that, releasing the control, releasing the expectation around that. All right, so let's pull some final clarification cards, and then we are going to wrap this video. All right, so here's the clarification. Choosing your own path. This makes so much sense with what I just said. Choosing your path. You see how this is a knight and he's going off on his own. All is possible. So when I say going off on his own, I don't mean you won't be in contact. I just want to make that clear. I don't mean you won't be in contact. I don't mean you won't be in a relationship. What I mean though is that you are truly going possibly in a different direction than your twin, and that's okay. The two of you are gonna be together in that. You're gonna support each other in this. And then the second one, the view from above. So get the big picture. I think that this is really about going back to the 5D and like really believing in this journey still, that even though the two of you are going on these, you know, possibly separate paths or divergent paths, there's still a larger plan at play, and everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to. So yeah, wow, this is really interesting. This is stuff that I didn't know, to be honest. So this later stuff is stuff that is new to me, even though I had looked at all the energies for the month. But this is what I'm getting from this, is that this divergent path, it is, even though on the 3D it looks, so on the 3D it's gonna look like progress. It still will look like progress, but it's not gonna look how you expected. But these divergent paths are part of the deeper union, and they're bringing you together. So this view from above, it's about the, you know, it's like keep looking to that 5D, keep looking to the bigger picture of the story that the two of you wrote together. So don't let that cause you fear. I think we've moved away from a lot of these fears that we were, you know, that were showing up at the beginning. These fears of lack of faith, lack of trust in each other. Trust each other and support each other. And keep in mind that the universe has your back. God has a plan for you. And all is well. All is well in this journey. So that's all the messages I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're interested in the monthly energies, go to cardreadingqueen.com/energies to sign up for them. And definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are resonating with these videos, as I'll be putting out some more. And if you are a Game of Thrones fan, make sure you watch the video. Feel free to message me about it, or leave a comment or whatever, because I love Game of Thrones and I'm happy to talk to you about it. So thanks so much. Have a blessed week.